Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hollywood Knitter Podcast. My name is Allison, and I am your host. I'm recording on Tuesday, May 29th, 2018, from my home in Los Angeles, California. I'm actually taking the day off of work today. It's the day after the Memorial Day holiday in the United States. And we were going to go out of town, which is why I took Tuesday off, and then that didn't end up happening, and I decided to take the day anyway, since I already had said I was taking it off, and just kind of enjoy a chill day at home. We had a great Memorial Day weekend. It was actually pretty chill. On Saturday, I went and hung out with my girlfriend and her two girls pretty much all day. It was awesome. I brought a bunch of board games, kind of like the ones you see behind me, but appropriate. Her daughters are 6 and almost 9. And we played games all day in the pool, and then we watched a movie, and so it was like an all-day thing. It was wonderful because I hadn't seen them in a long time. You know how even though you live in the same town, you can still only manage to see your close friends for, 2, 3 times a year. It's kind of how it is with us. She's busy with all the kids and the kid stuff and everything else. It's crazy. So we only managed to get together a few times a year, but it was a lot of fun. And then Sunday was a chill day where we just barbecued all the things. We had made, I shouldn't say we, my boyfriend barbecued all the things and made all the food. So we had tacos and grilled chicken and grilled carrots, and we made tomatillo salsa and just all the things. I have so much food in my fridge. It was way too much for just the three of us. But it was fun. And then yesterday we went and saw The Avengers, which was fun. I hadn't gone to the movie theater, to the movie theater, in quite a while. The only request he had was that they have recliner seats. So we went and found one that's really close and went and saw it, and it was a lot of fun. Except I had two girls next to me. They were probably, I don't know, I'd say one was 9, one was 11. And they talked throughout the whole film. It was kind of annoying. And their parents were sitting, I guess they didn't want to sit next to them, so they were sitting behind, like in another row. But with recliner seats, those rows are really far behind. So they couldn't probably even hear them, only me. And it was slightly annoying, but, rolled with it. And got a lot of sock knitting done, which was fun. Anyways, it's been about a month since my last podcast, and that's basically because I have finished very little and seem to have made very little progress on my other projects. So let's go right into that with my In the Can, my only FO. I'm wearing it. Isn't it beautiful? Here, I'm going to take it off, and I apologize in advance for my hair because it's this is the day off kind of thing, and I'm in desperate need of a haircut. I haven't gotten one in almost 6 months. Since I stopped coloring my hair, I don't have to go in as often, and so I pretty much only go in when it starts to get really dry in the ends, which it is now. So I'm gonna go the next 2 weeks. But anyways, so this hat, which I think I had done the brim last time I talked to you, it is JoJo's hat by Jody Brown of the Grocery Girls, and I knit the brim with some scrap yarn I picked up at the Knockers Retreat, and then this main part of the yarn, which is Dizzy Blonde Yarns in the Son of a Beach and her Superwash DK, I got as some type of prize at the Knockers Retreat. So this is actually going to be a scrap hat. It was really easy. It's just kind of some slippy stitches that go around, and it has a kind of, now that I'm looking at the thing, it has a kind of a cool stripe thing going on. But this is going to be a charity hat on my charity hat scrap, but I thought I would wear it for the podcast anyways. So that's the only thing I finished. What have I been knitting on? Well, let me show you my socks. And my socks get off and on, love. So I had a few days, like a meeting at work and like the movie theater yesterday. I got a ton done. And because we were going to the movies, I actually worked on it the day before. So I have one completely done. And keep in mind, these are for my boyfriend. So they are long. Don't they look long? They are basically, well, the other reason why these took so long is because I basically knit this area on the first socks 3 times. Because I was trying to make the perfect fit, and I wanted to use fish lips kiss heel, but it wasn't working over the instep, so I basically had to make some modifications. So I start off with 72 stitches, and then about halfway through right here, I increased 4 stitches to 76, and then right before I start kind of the increases, I did like a gusset. And this is what I had to knit 3 times to get right. To get not too much, the first time I had not enough, obviously, because I just knit a tube. Then I did the math and I had too much. Then I ripped it back and had to do it again and have just right. So end up being I increased over this area 16 stitches so that I did a larger fishless kiss heel that was done over 46 stitches. And then afterwards, I pretty rapidly decreased down right here to 72 stitches because he has a skinnier ankle and leg. And then he likes them tall so that he can wear them to work in his boots. So I did finish one. I can't remember when I finished it, a few weeks ago. And I cast on the other one, and I had very little done for a long time. I did like a meeting, and then I knew we were going to the movies. That was kind of the plan this weekend. So I think on Sunday, I picked it up, and I was like right here. And so from here to here, I knit in the last 2 days. Just goes to show when you actually focus, you can get a lot of knitting done. But the first night, I basically had to do the heel so that this was an increase area, so I knew it wasn't going to be mindless, and I wanted to get to the mindless part so I could knit in the movie theater. So I did all that, did the heel, and then decreased down, and so this section was done from here to here in the movie yesterday. And I actually did drop a stitch at the beginning of the row, I don't know, about a third of the way through the movie, and so it was time for a little wrist break anyways, because I'd been knitting since previews and everything else. So I basically took a little break and was waiting for an action scene, because the action scenes, although cool, you know, they're not as funny as the dialogue. I really enjoy the Marvel movies, and I know a lot of people said that this one, there was too many characters and things like that, but I liked it a lot. I thought it showed the best of each character. Not the best, but it showed enough of a snippet to get a feel for that character that you really enjoy. And yeah, I can't wait for the next ones. So I was really excited and happy that we did it, and I got a lot of knitting. Oh, and so an action scene, I went to the bathroom and picked up my stitches I dropped and was able to keep knitting. Oh, I forgot to say what the yarn was. So this is yarn I picked up at Stitches West. This is yarn he picked out, and this is White Birch Fiber Arts and Parties Weren't Meant to Last. And he picked it out because it is the Los Angeles Lakers colors. So, and then my top of it, which I just did a ribbed, and the heel are a mini that I got at Zombie Apocalypse. So I could figure out what it was, but I just didn't before this podcast. But it was a purple that sort of blended because I was worried, because he likes them extra tall, that I would have enough. And like I said, I don't know, about halfway up the leg now, and I'll have enough. This was made bigger by the fact that I have the yarn thing in it, but I think I'm gonna have enough. So, but probably just barely. I might have one extra stripe or something. So I was pretty happy with how that's going. I'm gonna try to focus on them maybe this week so that I can finish them, so I can get another pair of socks on the needles, because these have been on the needles since March, so that's a while. And then the pattern is just my standard toe up, kind of modifying as I go, vanilla. The other thing I sort of worked on a little bit since I last saw you is my Walk Along by Ann Strick. This is a short sleeve pullover, and I'm modifying it because it normally is just kind of the contrasting edges, but I was worried I would run out of the brown, so I started my striping pattern and barely started it. Again, sort of mindless, but I just haven't been focusing on it. So I got the most of it done. I'm below the bust now, so I just have to knit the straight section. And I know once I get started on it, it will go relatively fast. So that's also what I want to finish. I haven't really done too many modifications, just around the top, because I have a pretty good arm circumference, so I had to use a smaller bust but a bigger arm increases, and I was able to modify that. And then the only other thing is I think I talked about last time I want to do, I actually went ahead so knew I would have enough for the green and did the edging, but it's too tight, the rolled edge, so I think I'm going to rip this back and just kind of continue in the, because it goes basically a ribbing, sort of can say it, and then into a rolled edge. But I'm just going to rip this back and just do ribbing and leave it like that. But again, this has been on the needle since February, and that's how far I'm done. Fingering weight takes me a long, long time. But my main focus, and this is sort of what's killing my knitting mojo a little bit, is a shawl I'm trying to get done for my mom's birthday in June. And this yarn, for this, it's Into the World. And the green is Madtosh. Oh, and it's in my Amy Beth bag, which I love. But this is a Day to Remember by Joji Locatelli. It's a super easy lace shawl. Lots of garter stitch with some eyelets, and I have it on too short a needle, so I can't really pull it 100% for you, but that's what it looks like. And then the yarn is Ethereal Fibers Lace and Special Cucumber Unit that my mom had won when we went to Loopy U as a door prize, the Fall Fling. And I had said I would knit it up, and she chose this pattern, and it's just a lot. It's just taking me forever, and it's kind of boring, so I'll do a few rows and then stop. And then because I want to finish it, I won't let myself work on anything else. So then I don't knit. So it's sort of killing my knitting mojo. But I am committed to getting this done. My mom's birthday is in June 28th. And so I want to have it done, well, before I go to Zombie and Apocalypse, so that I could be done and have something else on the needles that I want to do. But so I've knit this much, and I'm through like 6 of the 7 pattern repeats. Of course, the rows are getting much longer. I think I'm up to 500 and something stitches on this thing. And I still have almost 40% of this ball left, and I wanted to use as much of it as possible. So we'll see. I'm definitely just going to do per pattern, and then maybe take it on a longer needle and see what the length is. And then the other change I'm going to make, this just calls for a plain edge, and I think I'm going to do a picot edge, which I know uses some more yarn too. But I think the odds of me using this whole 800 yards, are pretty slim. But that's all I've been working on. Kind of boring to me. But I'm really going to try to have this done in the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to try to just make myself pick it up and knit and knit and knit and knit. I'm drinking out of my awesome cup from Zombie and Apocalypse, and it's iced tea, and I don't actually make iced tea. I just make a pot of hot tea and then throw it in there with some ice. Voila, iced tea. And with my normal kind of double pot, I get probably about 32 ounces. And today I felt a little like minty. So I used a Christmas black tea I have, which has peppermint in it. And it's making a really refreshing iced tea. So I'm pretty happy about that. So that is all the knitting I have. I'm dreaming of knitting. And as a result of focusing on these, I haven't been able to keep up with some of my long-term goals. So I haven't worked on my blankets. They're just waiting. I haven't done my May ornaments, Christmas ornaments. I'm going to do 4 in June is my goal. I think I'll bring those to actually work on a Zombie and Apocalypse because they're really small and fast, and I like to be done. And then it's the time of the year to start some Mother Bears. I try to do some Mother Bears. That's one of the charities I support. And I try to do a few bears every year, and I try to do them right around now because the 2 Knitlit Chicks run a Mother Bear cow, and so I try to contribute to that. And so I have to start picking some of those up. That involves bringing a lot of scraps per se, so I may not bring that with me as travel, but as soon as I get the lace shawl, I'm going to start. Woo! I'm not loopy yet. I slept in great, had a great slow morning, but yeah. Some gossip and stash enhancement since I last saw you. So I went and saw my family the first weekend of May. I went with my boyfriend, came with me. That was a lot of fun. My aunt was out there also at the same time from New Mexico, which is one of the reasons I chose that weekend instead of going to Maryland Sheep and Wool. But we hung out and yeah, basically just hung out. My sister bought a beautiful new giant house where they all live in. They have a multi-generational house, so my parents and my brother and sister and my niece and nephew all live there, and it's a lot bigger than the last place that they did, and there's lots of space and nooks and cranny, and my mom has a whole quilting area set up for herself. She loves it. And then the big thing we did is we went to Foxwoods, which is the India casino, and we played bingo. We played bingo for the first time with my boyfriend, and he was stressed out. Bingo's serious. And he says, you guys do this for relaxation, because he was stressed out the whole time. It's kind of funny. But we did that for a few days, and then I also went to WEF, which is the Weaving Guild's fiber something, and that's down in Torrance, and it's usually in November, which is why I don't usually go, because it's usually right after Rhinebeck and I've just come back or things like that, or had a busy time. So I've actually never been down there. It's in Torrance, which is about a 45-minute drive for me. But I met up with my friend Priscilla this time, and I hadn't seen her in a while, so I had some gifts to give her that I picked up at Stitches West for her. That's how long it's been. And I did a little bit of yarn shopping. They had a lot of vendors. It was actually kind of interesting. Like, you went in, it's like, oh, there's another room. And of course, because it is a weaving, they had a lot of weaving fibers, and they had a lot of, they had spinning demonstration, and they had spinning fibers, and then they had some indie yarn dyers and bag makers, and it was a really good selection of things. Wasn't feeling overly shoppy. So I just picked up two things. And both of these are from the Capistrano Fiber Arts, who's in San Juan Capistrano, and I guess her name is Lori. And she was selling these little minis for $10, and they're each 165 yards. So I picked up two colored pinks because when I was home, my niece, again, asked me to make her socks because she saw me knitting on socks. And she is a girly girl and loves pink. And so I picked these up, and I think I'm going to do like a static zing, which is a pattern from Just Run It, which uses two colors, and knit her a pair of socks, hopefully to have them done when she comes in August to come see me, is my plan. I have to call my mom and have her measure the feet because she just turned 8 a few days ago, and I didn't measure her feet when I was there. So I'll have mom do some measurements of, quick fall of the foot, the widest part of the foot, and ankle, so I can make sure to size these right. And then I think I'm also going to try to make my nephew a pair of socks. I had picked up some Steeler Colors yarn for him, so I think that might be my next kind of on-the-go socks. So try to have those done for him in August and give them both socks, because, I try to, if I'm giving one a gift, I try to give another a gift. And so if I'm giving her socks, I should make him a pair of socks. And I think his feet have probably stopped growing. He is 16, almost 17, and has big feet. So that will be another long pair of socks. But I've never knit him socks, so I'm not sure if he's sock worthy. But I think it will be a good risk. So let's go into some upcoming stuff. I've been watching. I always watch a lot of movies. I get the Netflix 2 DVDs, and so I'm making my way through Murdoch's Mysteries right now, which I adore. It's a Canadian show that the first 7 seasons are on Netflix, and then the later seasons are only on DVD, so I'm working my way through them. I'm a big fan of watching previews and then adding movies to my list, so by the time they come up in my queue, I've forgotten what they are. So I watch a few like that, and then the latest movies that come out. So we did just see, 2 weeks ago, we saw a Girls Trip, which I know had come out last year, and I heard a lot about it, and it was hilarious. I was in a slightly bad mood beforehand, and I just laughed so hard at this movie that it just totally dissipated my bad mood. Just goes to show that laughter is awesome, because I was just on a high afterwards because I laughed so hard and so long. And then the other thing that we just finished watching, the second season of Last Night, which I highly recommend if you are a science fiction or fantasy fan. This is a science fiction show, but it's called The Expanse. And it's 3 seasons so far, and the first 2 seasons are on Amazon Prime. It was on Sci-Fi, but they actually just canceled it, and it was picked up by Amazon to keep producing it for a fourth show. But it is an excellent, excellent show. Very, very engaging. It's basically set in the future where we have expanded beyond Earth and we have a Mars colony, which is almost their own country. And then we have what they call the Belters, which are all these people that live on space stations and things like that. And all this dichotomy. But one of the reasons I really like it is that it has such strong diversity and as well as female characters. Like there is every kind of diversity represented, which you would expect to see in space. Not just in the main characters, but also in the background characters. You see all ethnicities, all, colors, creeds, everything. And then the female characters are so strong, so strong. My favorite is a character that is it's portrayed by an actress whose name is escaping me, but she's an Iranian American actress, and she plays a politician on Earth in the show, and she is so smart. She's like the smartest one on the show, politically wise, and doing all these machinations. And then just the way she is, she cracks me up. She was cross-examining this character, to see what she had seen during this battle. And it was the Martian character, so there was kind of these tensions, political tensions, and the guy's like, well, why are you questioning? Where are you going with this question? And she's like, anywhere the fuck I want. It was like, excuse me for my language, but it was so refreshing. That's sometimes what I wish our politicians, instead of being so political, just say what you think. Just say what you're doing. Instead of like couching in all these like... Anyways. If you're looking for a new show and you like sci-fi, I highly recommend The Expanse. I can't wait for season 3. Unfortunately, it's not on Amazon Prime right now. I was so disappointed last night. But it will be soon, and yeah, totally recommend. In addition, I watch a fair amount of TV, obviously. I'm working my way through various Netflix shows and movies and network TV. I work some network TV because we do have cable, which I want to get rid of. It's so expensive. Why is cable so expensive? But we originally got it for sports, which still is easiest to watch on there. So we watch a lot of soccer and a lot of baseball. In addition, every so often, you catch HGTV or other stuff will be fill-in kind of things, or random movies, though commercials. I wish we could get rid of commercials. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on there. I'm planning some upcoming trips. So in June, I have the Zombie Apocalypse in Minnesota. This will be my 5th year, I think. And I will be heading out there. So that's like in the end of June for 4 days. And then 4th of July, the boyfriend and I believe, are going to go to Palm Springs. We haven't done like just an us like planned trip. I do a lot of trips, but he's not a big traveler. So we're going to go to a really nice resort in Palm Springs that he has either stayed at or wanted to stay at. But it's very rare. He said, oh, let's go. So we're going to do that because the 4th of July is American Independence Day, and it's in the middle of the week. So we have a Wednesday day off. So we're going to make it a long kind of trip, long weekend. So I'll take Thursday and Friday off. And then in August, my sister and my niece and nephew are going to come, I think here. We haven't discussed exactly what we're going to do. They're definitely going to come out, and then she's going to meet us after her work trip to Vegas. She has a conference, she goes there. And then I haven't decided what we're going to do. Like, we've talked about San Diego. We've done that with the kids. Maybe San Francisco. We haven't done that with the kids. Or maybe some camping. I'm not sure. So I have to talk to her and figure out what we want to actually do and work on getting that kind of, at least the plane, dialed in so we can figure out everything else. So I'll probably be taking most of a week off. And then my girlfriend in Ohio, my best friend since childhood, called me a few weeks ago and was really excited. She's like, you're the first person I thought of. She's like, I got Beyonce and Jay-Z tickets. Do you want to come out for a weekend? So I'm going to go visit her in Ohio. She's actually just about to move to Cleveland, and go to the Jay-Z and Beyonce concert because that's what you do with your girlfriends. So I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't been out to see her in too long, probably a few years, and I haven't seen the baby, who is not such a baby anymore. So over a year and a half, and go do that. So those are my kind of upcoming trips. I'm starting to think that I'm starting to feel antsy for an international trip. So I might look to do one in the fall winter and maybe see if my mom wants to come join me and go do some fabulous trip somewhere. I haven't decided where yet. That's sort of what I'm thinking, and that's sort of all I got going on. As I said, I sort of feel a knitting ennui, but I'm gonna force myself to go through here. So I need to get some exciting TV on. What I need to stop doing is I have too many like games on my tablet I play that are just like filler games, but then that filler time I'm playing them is time I could be knitting. That's what I've been turning to when like I'm like, oh, I don't really want to knit on this lace shawl, and I need to stop doing that and just be like, no, you're knitting on the lace shawl. Knit, 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 knit. Anyways, that's all I have for you. I'm hoping everyone is having a wonderful May. If you are in the US, you had a wonderful Memorial Day. And June is here, which for us means May gray, June gloom. And the Los Angeles area in these months, we have a heavy marine layer that usually doesn't burn off until noon. So you wake up and it's really cool and gray in the morning, which is nice for like, wearing a shawl or something. But then by noon, it's like hot. And then the marine layer comes back in about 4-ish. So you've only got like 4 or 5 hours of sun. And then by the time we hit late June, early July, then we won't get any of that. It'll just be warm. But that's why I can wear a hat and I'm wearing long sleeves, because it was cool this morning, though I may have to change into t-shirt and shorts shortly because it looks like it is getting sunny. But I'm going to go dig in my fridge and have some wonderful leftovers for lunch, and then stick one of my Netflix movies on. I don't know what it is. It's called Landline. I'm not really sure why I added it to my queue. And pull out the shawl and knit on it. But, there's no but. That's what I'm going to do. I was going to say, if you're looking for me, there is a Ravelry group for the Hollywood Knitter. And if you are looking for me on Ravelry or Instagram, I'm Allison1031. And that's kind of all the social media you can find me on. That's all I got. I'll see you guys in a few weeks. It may be before Zombie Apocalypse, or it might be after, where I can show all of my fabulous purchases. I'm really excited about the market. I'm going to try to not limit myself, but I'm definitely feeling like my stash is getting bigger and I'm knitting slower, because fingering weight, which I have a lot of, which I love making fingering weight things, takes me a lot longer than if I were, say, doing a DK or worsted. Go figure. But I am still looking forward. I think I'm gonna try to get some more speckles and random skeins so I can do some of these like larger wraps and things like that I already have the yarn in my stash, or like 2 of the 3 I would need, or 3 of the 4, and whatever else kind of takes my fancy. But so it might be a few weeks until I see you again, maybe sometime in June. Not maybe, sometime in June, because it's almost the end of May. But until then, that's a wrap from Hollywood, where fantasy meets fiber and dreams are knit. Bye, everybody.